Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here is the 2023 Hyundai Kona Electric. So we'll look at the interior, the exterior, and then go for a spin around and see what we think about the all-electric Hyundai Kona. Okay, so now we're in the driver's seat of the Kona Electric, and let's go for a little spin around. So we'll start by selecting drive here, and you can almost hear the motor then come to life. There's kind of that EV sound, and it's hard to explain until you really spend some time in an EV, but it's so quiet in here. I mean, whether it's just when you come up to a stop sign or when you're driving on the highway, the road noise is very minimal. It's just going to be a little bit of wind and a little bit of tire noise compared to having a turbocharged engine or something else that kind of revs up to get you going. The EVs are so cool just because of how quiet they are when you're out on the road. So back to our park reverse neutral drive. Now this is an EV vehicle, so there is no transmission tunnel. So what does that mean? There's no large thing that runs through the center of the vehicle essentially. So that frees up a ton of storage space underneath here, whether it's your purse or anything else you want to store down there. There's also a 12 volt and more charging down there, which is really cool. And then that extends into the back seat. So what that means is you can put 5 passengers in this car and they're gonna have room for their feet because you don't get that traditional transmission tunnel. Now, exterior styling on the Kona, it's not like a lot of other EVs out there. Some of them are very loud. Some vehicles you look at and you know, hey, that's kind of futuristic, it looks like an EV, but I think that's what's kind of cool about the Hyundai Kona. Maybe you don't want something a little bit crazy or a little bit flashier. This just looks like a standard crossover SUV. The only thing you'd notice is that little hatch up front that you press to then open up where the charge port goes. Now, speaking of charging and range, so this total range on this electric Hyundai Kona Limited would be 258 miles. Now that's on a full charge, and charging can be done through level 1 or level 2. And level 1 at home, it will get you enough to kind of maintain. Maybe if you're home for the weekend or charging it up overnight, it's not going to give you as much as going to a level 2, but it could help you keep some of that range. Now, you can see your energy flow right here on the digital gauge cluster. So that's going to give you all your trip information through there, and it's going to show you the energy flow. And then there's these, what would typically be paddle shifters on most other cars, that's going to be able to control the amount of regen. So if I click 1, you kind of feel it kick in, 2, and then 3 is going to be the most powerful regen. So when I kind of give it some gas and then lift off, it's very aggressive, and what that's doing is helping charge those batteries back up. When you're out on the road driving around, the regenerative braking system is going to help you build back some miles, hopefully over time. And if you don't like that, or you're not used to maybe the EV driving, you can kind of work your way into it by clicking the other paddle here, and it kind of softens it up a little bit and feels more like a standard vehicle. Now, how's the handling and drive? That's kind of a sharp corner there, but one thing that's cool about the EVs is all that weight from the batteries is kept down low. So this little Kona Electric feels like a go-kart. I mean, there's a couple different drive modes here, right? So if I click normal and then I go into sport mode and I put my foot down, you immediately hear that little EV motor wind up and it goes pretty good, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's fun to drive. And that's one thing that's great about the EVs is that instant torque. You're always gonna have that there. And with the batteries being down low, that low center of gravity also is gonna help you out in the Minnesota winters. So if it starts snowing, a lot of that weight is down low and it's really gonna help you out in those situations. Now let's talk about some of the infotainment screen. This one does have Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. I've got my phone plugged in down here. There's also wireless charging that you can use. So you just drop your phone on there and you're off and running. This one also is going to have built-in navigation on the 10.25-inch display. So this is the limited model, right? So this is going to have a little bit more equipment than maybe some of the lower trim levels. So you're adding things like the sunroof up above, these leather appointed seats, which are very comfortable. And it's a little cooler out today. We're deep into fall here in Minnesota. So I've got the heated seats, but then when summer comes back around, I've also got the ventilated or air conditioned seats, which is really cool. Not to mention the heated steering wheel. So that's a little button down here as well. I click that, the steering wheel gets nice and toasty, and is absolutely one of my favorite features. So let's touch on some of the safety equipment in this vehicle. Now, Hyundai's safety equipment is going to be some of the best in the business, whether that's blind spot monitoring, the adaptive cruise control system, there's a lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert. I mean, you could spend a lot of time going through just the safety equipment, and that's what's going to be great, because if it's you or if your family is in the vehicle, you absolutely want to make sure that you're safe, not to mention the great backup camera in here that has a few different kind of settings you can look, either straight down to see the curb, or will show up behind you if you're in a tight parking spot. That is an awesome feature. Plus, it also has parking sensors or sonar sensors, which makes it very easy to park. And this isn't a large SUV. That's what's great about kind of these crossover or subcompact SUVs, that this kind of falls into that category of it's got plenty of room. In the back, the seats do fold down. It's got a cargo cover back there, and it's got great storage space. I threw all my camera gear, all my stuff in there, and I found myself really liking this car. It's a lot more fun to drive than I thought it might have been. It's zippy, it's quiet in here. I mean, it's super windy outside today, and you can hear a little bit of that wind noise or kind of crosswinds blowing around, but no different than any other SUV. And one other thing that is cool is that it's so quiet when you all of a sudden turn onto a side road. It's just dead silent in here. I've got my Spotify going, my Google Maps going from the infotainment screen here, and it's just great. I mean, this is an awesome day-to-day vehicle that whether you're dropping the kids off somewhere or running back and forth to work or running errands, I mean, 258 miles of range is quite a bit, and you can pop into that level 2, it'll charge up pretty quick. Or like I said, with the level 1 at home, it kind of maintains and keeps the battery charge going for you to hopefully get you through the entire week at least. So overall, what do I think now that I've been driving it around a little bit? Like I said, I love the infotainment screen in here. I love the zippiness and fun to drive. That was one thing that really surprised me in the Kona Electric. Just how much fun it is to drive, how comfortable it is in here. I mean, I've got all the equipment, and it's gonna get a pretty decent range for a subcompact vehicle that can hopefully get you through a week or two before you even have to think about charging it up. So, great equipment. I think the styling is good on the exterior, and all the great creature comforts in here make it one you absolutely have to get out, take for a spin, see what you think. So that was just a brief look at the Hyundai Kona Electric. Now, if you'd like more information or to schedule a test drive for yourself, you can visit us online at Walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.